So today's little session is going to be on StatPearls. This introduction is geared toward student users. There was one a few weeks ago for faculty who are using StatPearls in their courses. So if that is something that you are more interested in, that recording will be available shortly. So first off, what is StatPearls? Basically, StatPearls is a product that provides exam review and also self-testing resources, as well as allowing faculty to assign quizzes for their courses. We've got a whole bunch of subscribed packages, and there are numerous test banks, like so many that I can't fit them on a slide in a meaningful way, available for StatPearls. So there's a lot out there. If you are prepping for an exam, it is very worth it to see if StatPearls has the test bank for that test to help you with your preparation. First off, and a lot of this presentation as I go through it is going to largely be, we'll be doing a lot of live demonstration, but I'm going to run through at least some of the introductory part first, and then we'll be doing some bouncing back and forth between the slides and the actual StatPearls software. So the big important part, though, is the first time you go to use StatPearls, don't just go to StatPearls and create an account and log in. It will allow you to do this. You'll have limited access to kind of the non-paid portions of the site. But if you do this, it won't correctly link to your LSU account. So you won't get all those full features. And if you want to actually link to that, you'll need to create a separate account. So you want to just start by going through our link, through our registration portal. And then that way, if you do create anything else, it'll be correctly linked to your LSU account. If you have, for some reason, come from another institution where you've used StatPearls in the past, there may be a way to kind of combine your two accounts. We've had to reach out to the StatPearls help desk about that sort of thing in the past. I have found their help to be actually fairly helpful in that regard and fairly responsive. So if that is a problem you're having, reach out to us and we can help you connect to people who can help you solve it. So first off, though, I'm going to move over to our StatPearls page. This is on the library database page, which you can get to just by going to our library front page, going to the list of all databases, and following your alphabetical links to StatPearls. Right here is the link to the registration portal. As I said, that is where you want to go first. Once you have set up your account through that portal, you can go to the regular StatPearls website to log in. So we return to our slideshow. Navigating StatPearls, some aspects of navigation. It has a lot of wonderful features, but there are aspects of the StatPearls navigation that I do find a little bit counterintuitive. When you log in, it's generally going to bring you to a front page that looks a bit like this. But if you go up here and click User Dash, that's going to take you kind of to where you really actually want to be. And this is going to give you a quick overview of your current account, basically. It's going to kind of focus, the first thing you probably see is this latest assignments thing. It's kind of assuming, you're there because you've been assigned a quiz and you want to take it. There is this little help bar, search bar here where you can find articles and overviews of various topics. So like if we do Parkinson's disease, we get their little kind of articles. They've got a whole bunch of different things. A lot of which is very kind of thorough overviews. It's got a lot of good, citations and stuff. So you can click on those to find the sources for all of these as well. It's even got some patient education stuff, like little kind of summaries for, oh, never mind, disregard. We don't have that. There is somewhere that you can get a simpler summary. It links out of, that's what I was thinking that was going to lead us to. I'll show you that later. But you can get a simplified summary of various topics that will link out from StatPearls to some patient education stuff. which was where I expected that link to take me. But back to the dash, any quizzes you have, you'll see any assignments here. So assigned quizzes from any faculty. If you have reading assignments, that can also be assigned in StatPearls, tests, things like that. You can also see kind of, my upcoming quizzes, have I completed them all, things like that. Below that, you have question banks. We'll go in depth in all of these little categories here, but question banks is where you would go to create a self-test quiz for yourself, for your own study. And then behind that, we also have some CE activities and things like that. There are various, I've got my specialty set, I think, as nurse anesthesia right now. So a lot of my things are based around that. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm remembering that correctly. I might have some physician assistant stuff in there too. But that's kind of basically that. Just back to my slideshow briefly. Okay, so to take a quiz, you will go to your assigned quizzes section, and it's going to show you uncompleted assignments in red and completed assignments with a score and possibly the option to review the results. When faculty create and assign quizzes, they have the option to allow you to review your results or not. So that view will depend a bit on whether your faculty have chosen that option. So to go back, we'll go actually into our assigned quizzes here. If you have multiple courses that are using StatPearls, you may be in different groups depending on how they're set up. You can filter by your groups. I'm going to use my little testing and troubleshooting group here that I've created to assign quizzes to myself. I did discover while playing around this morning that this hide completed assignments doesn't actually work. So sorry, that is not a helpful button. That may be something I reach out to the StatPearls customer service about. But you can see here, though, I've got some quizzes here. I've got my demonstration quizzes. You can see I have not finished this one, but it is past due. If I try to start it, it's going to give me an error message that it is past due. If you think you are eligible for an extension, or you think there's a chance that your professor just put in the wrong due date for a quiz, reach out to them directly about that, and they can adjust those settings. But if you do have one that is completed, here you can see this one has been completed. I took one question. Well, I answered one question. I got it correct, but it was only one of 50 questions, so I have a 2% on that one. But I could go in, I could review my results, and this is a quiz on which I did have the ability to go in and review my results. So if I got something wrong, I can click on that show question. It'll tell me, what the correct answer was. And even if I got it right, it'll show me teaching points. If I go to some of the ones I didn't see at all, I didn't answer these at all, but it will show me my teaching points and things like that. So I can kind of see what I should have done instead. To return to my quizzes, though. Let's just navigate through one that is still valid, which I'm sure I gave myself one. Okay. This one should still let me in. This is one that I started earlier, so I can hit resume. Nope, this is the other error message where this is a timed assignment. So I had set a time. It will count if you start a quiz and don't finish it and the time runs out, it'll keep counting forever. I started this earlier this morning, so it's a little funny if you're like 3 days late on something. I clicked the wrong one, though. We'll just start this one fresh. I do find it a little bit frustrating that it doesn't bring you back to the group you were in before. But okay. I believe this is the one I want. Okay, I have not begun this quiz at all yet. Yeah, this is my demo quiz for this assignment. So we can just say, to start a quiz, just say start. And it will have, my question. You'll notice you've got this little timer here. for your test duration. I'm going to warn you very loudly right now, do not trust that timer. That timer is going to reset with every new question. This is something that I have sent to StatPearls customer service that I really strongly think should be corrected. They haven't figured out a way to fix it yet, or have forgotten that I asked. I have it on my calendar to follow up soon. If you are taking a StatPearls quiz and it is timed, I highly recommend setting up your own independent timer to track your time, because it is not very flexible as far as that goes, and it is not showing you an accurate test duration. So just be aware of that if you are taking a timed test. But as far as entering a quiz, it's mostly like you think it's going to be, but there is a nice little feature where if you're kind of going through your answers and you want to sort of mark things out, if you click on the word, it will like mark options. Otherwise, all of my answers, I apologize to everyone. I'm just going to be randomly clicking things because I don't know anything about this. But to actually select your answer, click on the little radio button there. It does have a few little additional things where like a calculator here that will pop up. It has some lab normal like reference charts available for you. But make your selection, click next question. Same thing. Yeah, we'll say that seems like that might be right. I don't know. We'll find out. As you can see, here's my test duration timer has reset. So like I said, don't trust that. And I've completed the quiz. I got it 50%, which I feel is pretty good for a librarian. And that's basically it. Mostly taking a quiz works pretty much like you expect, other than the warning about the timer. But if I go back to my quiz dashboard, I can now see I've got, sorry, let me go back to my smaller group here. I can now see my completed quiz here, and I can review my results. And as I said, it'll give me my general rundown, and it will give me my question by question rundown because I have this set up to allow that sort of more in-depth review. All right, let me just bounce back to my PowerPoint to make sure I'm not missing anything too exciting. Yes, we've got my quizzing. Okay, if you do, as I said, if you do run into that out of time problem, if you are someone who has an accommodation for extra time and you don't think it was granted in the thing, just reach out to your professor about extensions, about any problems you're having. Most of that they will be able to correct from their end. They are welcome to reach out to me for assistance if they need it for any of those features. But if you get this message, basically just, and you don't think you should have gotten this message, reach out to your instructor. We've talked about reviewing results already. If they don't have it set up to allow that in-depth review, you'll just kind of see a percentage right and wrong, maybe a question by question, but you won't get necessarily those in-depth things. All right, I'm just gonna go briefly into reading assignments. I don't know how many instructors are using this, but it may be that some are, it may be that some more will. It's very straightforward. If you just go to reading assignments, if you have something here, it will show it to you. Click on read articles. It will show you the 2 articles. You just go in, and once you've read it, mark the assignment. You have to read all of them, then mark it complete. If you mark it complete, you can't mark article by article, unfortunately. It's a nice little feature. I don't think anyone's using it heavily, so I wouldn't put too much stress on it. Let's see. Okay, the next thing I do want to talk about, though, is you can create a quiz for yourself. If you want to, if you're preparing for a certification exam of some sort, or you're studying for a class, and you want to do self-test that's maybe a little more exciting than flashcards, you can create yourself a quiz. You can build a quiz and take it and see your results. You can see your progress. So if we go to question banks here, you can actually get to this 2 ways. You can get to it if I go home and scroll down. I can get this start building a quiz, or I can click on this quiz builder. They both take you to the same place. There is also a pre and post test thing. So if you're just starting to prepare for like a certification exam or something, You can take a pre-test. It's pretty long. It's like 150 questions or something, at least for whatever specialty I'm currently set up as. And it will be based on whatever you set your specialty to when you set up. Oh, yes, I'm in CRNA. So you can kind of change your question bank here. And also you can change or set your specialty in account settings as well. Somewhere in here is, yeah, you can get kind of CME options and things. Go back to my dashboard. Okay. So you can do a pre and post test. So if you were just starting, you can take that long 150 whatever question pre-test, do a whole bunch of study, do a semester of work, whatever, and then come back and take the post test to kind of compare your progress to yourself. But I think the thing people are more likely to use is just kind of this shorter quiz builder thing. So we'll go with that. So we're going to say start building a quiz. And we have a few different options here. There's study mode and test mode. The difference between these two is that study mode will let you choose an answer and it will give you immediate feedback of whether that answer is right or wrong. And if it's wrong, it'll give you all of that kind of learning teaching points, I think they call it, as far as other articles you may want to read, information about the topic, whatever it is. So it'll give you that immediate feedback. You can choose your difficulty level. So I'm going to set mine to be 1 or 2. Maybe I can guess mine. If you are working with specific age range, if you're specifically like working, with pediatrics or something, you could set that age range. And then you can narrow it. You could do all exam topics, or you could be like, I want to focus on pharmacology or something. I probably don't want to focus on pharmacology. I'll say I want to focus on local and regional anesthetics. How about? And you can see these are kind of geared toward that CRNA thing. You can also name your quiz. So if you want to have it named something more memorable than, October 1st, or give it a description. And then you can set the number of questions you want. So if you just want a, short little thing, you can make it 5. Oh, wait, there may be I'm limited to 15 because of the things, because I've narrowed it down. There's only 15 questions about local and regional anesthetics. But if I expand it to like all exam topics, I could go up to 190 questions if I wanted to. So, and then you just say create and take quiz. It is going to bring you directly into the quiz. But since this is just a self-test thing, well, actually, let me show you real quick. I must have done test mode. Yeah, I wanted to do, I'll do another one, but that is study mode, so you can see what that looks like. But it does. Why isn't it telling me? Huh. No. I mean, I guess maybe the fact that it gives you, oh no, I know. Never mind. When it gives you the teaching points when you choose the correct answer. So if you're just clicking through all of them till it tells you you've got it right, that's what I forgot about that. So, and it will get it'll tell you how other users answered. I'm not sure how.
That is all of StatPearls, not.
It is everyone in this question bank. Yeah. So yeah, presumably this is all of StatPearls. Yeah.
It is all of
it. Yeah. And then just move on to the next question. But if you didn't actually want to take this quiz right now, you can quit and exit quiz, and it is going to show up still under your created quizzes, and you can go back into it and resume whenever you want. It's your quiz. There's no deadline. So you could also like reset the results, change the name, things like that. But that's basically that aspect of it. Let me go back to my thing and see where I am. Okay. Yeah, we've got the pre and post test we've covered. Okay, actually, we've covered everything. So I will ask if there are any questions or any features that you've wondered about and not seen yet. And if so, I will tell you about them.
What's on performance?
Oh, yes. Performance. this will kind of compare yourself to your peers, basically. This is all users of this question bank, and they calculate your percentile ranking. I just think everyone owes me a debt of gratitude because I'm probably bringing the overall average down by my test quizzes and my number of wrong answers. So your results may be slightly artificially inflated by the random librarian who's trying to figure out how StatPearls works. Yes.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I went to a training yesterday and it's about StatPearls, and they said they recommend not doing this until you've done like 100+ questions.
I think that is that for those of you on Zoom. Sharon said she went to a training yesterday, and they recommend not doing this until you've taken a lot of quizzes and answered a lot of questions.
So you can do a breakdown to see where you're deficient,
Right.
but they need a lot.
Right. Yeah. Basically, like anything, the more data you put in, the more meaningful that data will be. Yeah. Right now, I mean, because right now I'm performing much better than I should be because I've got 100% of the 2 questions I've answered correct. I haven't answered very many questions though, but this makes me look much better than I should be. I mean, I am still in the like 0th ranking, so as I should be, but it's not giving me a lot of feedback of my overall knowledge at this point. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. That's kind of why I was like, I'm not, I don't know how meaningful it really is, but if you are someone who wants to kind of see where you stack up in relation to all of the StatPearls users of the CRNA test banks, then maybe that is something that you're interested in.